a couple of times before, a few times, and it always kind of works, but the way it works is magic. So I'm just warning you, it may not work today because it takes magic and that doesn't always happen. You're all writers, or you're people who are interested in writing. And my theory of writing is that when you've got characters, characters will give you everything else. Characters are what you need, and characters will give you all the other stuff. They will give you story, they will give you worlds, they bring them along with themselves, okay? And probably come and sit down here with everybody else.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab a chair.
Yeah, great. We've got room here in the middle.
Great.
Yeah. So characters bring everything along with themselves. And it's very easy, usually, to think of main characters that your story is about. But when you're writing something long, and I'm all about writing long things, I was saying earlier, I've published 9 novels and I think 6 short stories. And, when you're writing something long, you need loads and loads of characters. And you need somebody to come through the door with a gun, and they've got to have motivations and a past. And you need somebody to be serving the drinks in the inn. And sometimes they're just invisible. It doesn't matter who they are, it's only the drink that matters. But sometimes you want them to actually be a little bit more interesting than that. So you need loads and loads of characters, and they've got to come from somewhere. And what this is a trick for generating characters, okay? And getting other things from characters. Sometimes really major important characters, and sometimes your little ones who are just serving the drinks. So what I want you to do, you've all got pen and paper because you're all really organised and you saw that this said this. What I want you to do is to write down on your paper a piece of paper that you're not going to need afterwards. If you've got lovely paper like that, I could let you have some not so nice paper. You don't want to rip it out of there. But on paper that you can rip out and give to me, I want you to write down 3 character things, and they can be, okay, everybody okay for paper you don't mind tearing up? Okay, they can be things like, physical things like tall or has a long tail, or they can be emotional things like broken up by loss of partner, okay? Or they can be things that are in between, like ridiculously rich. But just little short things like that, not whole long paragraphs about them, just a line or a few words, 3 individual things on different lines of your paper, okay? So it might be like tall, very rich, has a long tail, or whatever, yeah? And then when you've written down 3, give me the paper. No, just give me the paper. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, put them down here, I've got a hat. And I've got scissors. Great. Now this is going to take the longest. If I was a very, very organised person, I would get everybody in slips, but it's better to do it on one piece. Can you fold that up for me? So has everybody done them? Everybody done them? Yeah? I have them all? Great. Well, just give me another second to cut the rest of these up, because you were all very quick.
Because I have to sit here.
No, you can't.
I have to.
Well, you're just watching if you're sitting up there.
Okay, I'm
you
watching.
can't play. You're going to play with everybody else. You've got to come and sit down here.
No, I have to. I can watch.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I have to go listen and get ready for my interview. Say I'll just watch. That's creepy. Yeah, she's my stalker.
Yeah, well, this is why I try to limit it to 20 people, because my fingers get dirty. Cutting them up.
You've got a lot of young guys around you, I'm sure would be able to help them.
But I've only got one scissors. Oh. Nearly done. Thank you. Yeah, it's well known that women never help out. This is scraps. There's only two left. Well, you got scissors. You brought scissors? Okay. Oh.
Stuff.
Okay, I have done this and I'm not going to mix them up in my hat that I prepared earlier. I'm going to carefully separate these, which I did on sticky things, and they're therefore sticky. Okay, you've probably seen this trick already by watching me cut them up. You are owed three things about a person, about a character, and what I've got is a mix of everybody's things about the character. But the amazing thing is that if I pick three things out of this hat, I will have a character. I will be able to pull a character, a good character, from these three random things. And so can you. Genuinely, every time I've done this before, it works. So if I take suspicious, expecting to be cheated, pointed tail, And the one that I accidentally ripped in half as I was putting it in, so I'm doing it, sad-eyed. Okay. So this is somebody who has a pointed tail. They're suspicious and they expect to be cheated, and they have sad eyes. And what does that give you immediately? You've got a very, very interesting devil who wants to make bargains, and is expecting to be cheated, and he's got sad eyes. And if you gender reverse it, because there's no gender here, you've got a female devil with a long tail and sad eyes who expects to be cheated on in bargains. Yeah. Or maybe an alien, but the expecting to be cheated with pointed tail pulls it immediately into that one particular mythology. And that's what I mean about the characters bring their backgrounds with them. Just putting those three things together gives you the context for the character. And it also gives you the character's motivation, how they will act, because they expect to be cheated and because they've got sad eyes. Yeah? It's the combination gives you this great thing that you wouldn't otherwise have. So if you were thinking about writing a deal with the devil's story, you probably wouldn't get such an interesting devil unless that's what you were starting with, as you would from this, starting from pulling three random things out of here. And now you're going to do it yourselves, and I'm going to pass the hat around this way. Try to take three that look different and don't look at them before you take them out, but it doesn't really matter. No, just let her do it first, and then we can pass it on.
Okay.
Yeah. Because otherwise people get time to think about it.
Okay. Brave, treats his dog better than his wife, and is broke.
Okay, so what does that say to you?
I don't know, there's a little bit of they seem opposite to me. Brave and treats his dog better than his wife. Well, no, maybe not. Someone who treats his dog better than his wife is probably pretty brave.
Or he could be, we've definitely got a he here because it says treats his dog better than his wife.
Yes, it's a...
So it's definitely a guy. But he could have been brave in a context where he was brave in the army and he came back and treats his dog better than his wife.
Right.
Or he could be brave in a whole lot of other contexts while being a domestic villain. That's what that says to me, is he's a batterer.
Cop, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe a cop. He's one of those people who mistreats his wife.
Or really, really loves his dog.
Or, yes. Yeah, but the brave and the broke. And so maybe he's one of these army veterans who are always asking me for money on the street. In the US, where they say they're an army veteran and they want my money, and then they go home and spend it all on dog food and beat up their wife. Yeah. Within the context of the devil making bargains, that would be somebody that the devil could probably make quite a good bargain with. Yeah, if these two were in the same world. Your ex-cop or your ex-army person who's broke, or even if they're not ex, even if they're just living from paycheck to paycheck, because that could be broke as well, then that's somebody who's ripe to sell their soul to the devil. Yeah. And the other question that's always interesting to ask when you're doing this is what age they are. What's interesting about it if they're young? What's interesting about it if they're old? Yeah. Because if you've just got a cliche standard character coming through a door, yeah. So is it more interesting if this guy who's nice to his dog and horrible to his wife, if it was World War II they fought in and they're 70 years old, is that interesting? If it's Afghanistan and they're a young person, is that interesting? And generally also gender, not when you've solidly got gender. But if you swap that round and you get a woman who's nicer to her dog than to her husband, you don't have the violence there. Immediately when you gender switch, the violence has gone, what you've got is mean nagging. Yeah. And maybe it could just be mean nagging if it was a guy, but it's not the way it pulls. But you've got a certain amount of stuff going on. So what's more interesting, an old woman, an old man, a young woman, a young man? The question is, what's more interesting? Gender and age are completely in your control, and people very often make the choice of having stories about young men just as a default, because we've got a lot of those stories. But, you know, yeah. Okay, you go.
Weirdness magnet. Facial scar running down cheek. Short red hair. Yeah, that's the problem. Well, I see myself now.
Are you a weirdness magnet?
Absolutely. That tipped me off more than the short red hair, so I'm really having trouble finding anything else. Facial scar. I don't have a facial scar. So.
Okay. What difference? If you had a character who was a lot like you, who was a weirdness magnet, and was a lot like you, what difference would it make to him from you for him to have a facial scar?
What difference would it make? Maybe more combative lifestyle.
What difference if we flipped the gender? If it was somebody a lot like you, weirdness magnet, short red hair, but it was a girl with a facial scar. More interesting for a woman to have a facial scar. More likely to sort of change the character. And in the context of the two that we've got already, would that be somebody who would sell their soul to the devil? Would the devil be coming looking for somebody who is a weirdness magnet? Would the weirdness magnet get involved with the guy with the dog?
Well, if they're a weirdest thing, they're going to just happen to.
Yes.
Yes. Whenever
Yes.
the deal goes down, they have to be having a cup of coffee at the next
Exactly.
table.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on because that one was very close.
I've got always hungry, hairy mole, and ballet dancer.
Always hungry and
Well, the ballet dancer and always hungry totally go together.
I think it's a character from
Ballet or
Fantasia.
Ballet. Ballet?
Ballet.
Yes, I think it's a character from Fantasia. Well, they weren't moles, but... Okay, what can you make of that?
Maybe a teenager, because teenagers are usually always hungry. And ballet dancer, so maybe she has some struggles with her weight issues. She wants to make enough money to get rid of this hairy mole, which is like ruining her chances of being a ballet dancer.
Okay.
Doesn't really fit with the devil. Maybe if she can just make a deal with the devil to get rid of that horrible unsightly.
Or with the terrible hunger. She could be one of these people who's sort of anorexic, because ballet dancers often have that kind of problem, don't they?
Or maybe she's hungry because her deal with the devil has survived.
Yeah, yeah. And if it was a guy, because there are male ballet dancers, there certainly are.
Yeah, I can see the gender switch kind of going the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it was somebody who was older, it could be somebody who was coming to the end of their useful life as a ballet dancer. Which makes you wonder, because this is the other one when you do three at random, why is the hairy mole important? You came up with a good one if it's a teenage girl, yeah, that she wants to get enough money to get it removed. But if they were older, if they were successful, why wouldn't they have had it removed? Or is it a sign of something else? Because moles can be precancerous. It could be, the hairy mole could be death, or a sign of death, possibly.
Or maybe it's just a marker of their character, like they decided to do it.
Yeah. Or it could be a mark of the deal with the devil that they made a long time ago. It could be a because they were considered to be witch moths in the Middle Ages. Yeah, and extra nipples they thought they were if somebody had one of those moles, and You know, so it could be, if it was an aging ballet dancer who'd made a deal with the devil some time ago, it could be the sign of that mark. And the devil's always expected to be cheated.
But the always hungry thing, it can be metaphorically hungry too, right? Like,
It could
especially if
be.
it's an older male character, this idea that they're always hungry, they're always fighting for the next thing.
Yes,
Huge character point.
yes, 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 so predatory, hungry in that sense. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Nearsighted. Optimistic. Medium height. Yes.
So what do you make of that?
Sounds to me like an average person who thinks that the light at the end of the tunnel isn't a coming train.
Yeah. Yeah, nearsighted and average height are such standard geeky kind of things that it sort of pulls in a geeky kind of direction. But optimistic, maybe not so much.
But isn't that interesting? Like, if he is an everyman character that's optimistic, usually an everyman character is a little cynical, a little beaten down.
Mhm.
So why is he so optimistic?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he made a deal with
Yeah.
He knows how to-
And the other thing is a kind of Pollyanna character, who always is looking on the bright side and everybody else hates them.
Or you could want him to represent the wisdom and virtue of the common folk.
Yes,
He'd also be a bit of an academic with the nearsightedness.
yes, yes.
Doesn't really look into that, how the world really works, and he also deals with
Mhm. Yeah. So maybe if you've got the teenage ballet dancer, he could be an academic advisor, he could be a teacher, or somebody like that, a mentor figure for somebody like that. Again, if you gender flip, if you think about age with that, does that give you anything more interesting? Mm.
Not so much when they're young, perhaps when they're older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With if they still manage to keep their optimism, then that shows a strength of character, resilience, especially with all if there's a bunch of negative experiences that came on their way and they're still optimistic even after all of that.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, if they're an older mentor figure and they're optimistic and they've got to deal with, you know, the devil and an ex-cop who beats his wife, and it's challenging their optimism, isn't it? So
Maybe they have denial issues.
maybe they do have denial issues. Yeah.
And nearsighted could be metaphorical.
That could also be metaphorical, and it could indeed fit together with optimistic
Yeah,
in
I
that
don't
way.
see the larger problems.
So they could be a mentor figure who doesn't help, who wants to be a mentor, who wants to help, who's somebody to go to for help, and they maybe the wife who's being battered. And again, you can put this together. Maybe your ex-cop is beating up your ballet dancer, and the ballet dancer's going to help to the mentor for help, and the mentor saying, "Oh, it'll all be all right." So she's got to turn to the devil. You know? So I mean, characters, they come together, they give you story. Okay.
The truck driver is articulate and seeking purpose. So it seems to me like someone who's on the road a lot would be driven to seek out that purpose, that would kind of drive him into that sort of career. The fact that he's articulate isn't really something you'd associate with truck drivers. It seems like someone who's probably well-read as well.
But maybe self-taught
Right.
or maybe not.
But spending so much time on the road, he has a lot of time to read books and the books. Yeah, to me, it's maybe I guess I'm kind of stuck on the someone that's hunting the devil sort of character.
Yeah.
So to me, that's who that.
That's great. That's
the
just who
kind
we
of
need at this
person
point.
seeking is-
At this point in the story, an articulate truck driver hunting the devil is just exactly who we need. Yeah.
I'd read that.
And he's
Particularly with-
articulate. He's probably striking up conversations in diners with all these other people.
Yes. Yes.
In my head, he's forming a team with the short red head and the academic who are like reading up on how to hunt the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all coming together, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
All right. Not a bad one. This person is blind, stocky, with bad teeth and unkempt hair.
What was the middle one?
Stocky.
Stalky. Okay. Okay. What do you think?
The first thing that pops into my head is a crazed street person, someone living on the street, who's a beggar, partly because they're blind, but partly because they're just a little bit out there. And how they fit their story, who knows? But that's the first sort of character sketch.
I may put them in the angel role.
You know the angel role?
Or someone who's run afoul of the devil.
Yeah. There's actually all sorts of things that a character like that can be as a bit part character. There are all sorts of things. The angel, the prophet, the victim. Yeah. Or the person who knows more than they're supposed to know and it's driven them crazy. And just the person who stumbles at the back of the diner when the other people are coming out of it. You know, and falls into something they're not supposed to fall into.
Yeah,
Um,
for somebody who's klutzy.
Yeah. Okay, gender. Because that was sure going default male.
This stocky leads, to me, in my head, it's the equal male character.
Yeah, it does kind of lean that way. But there are blind female street people. I'm not sure whether it adds anything or doesn't add anything, but just always ask the question. Well, it doesn't matter so much for your real big important characters, because you know what gender they are and it matters. But when it's somebody who's stumbling across a parking lot and they're going to be a victim or they're the angel or whatever, just think about, do I want them to be male or female? You know, how does that matter? And how does it change it if they're one or if they're the other? Because that's where it's so easy to go with cliche. It's where it's so easy to just go with, you know, oh, it's always a guy, it'll be a guy. Or if it's a victim, it's always a woman, so it'll be a woman. That's where you can just make it more interesting by just thinking about it, even if you decide that you're going to go with a guy. Because that sounds like a guy to me as well. But
Yeah, and then rereading the middle one, it actually does say beard, not hair.
oh right,
Or
beard.
hair from-
Oh well, beard in that case,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely no.
Well, it actually sounds like a homeless lady that used to live a few blocks from here.
Right,
There are
okay.
women who do have beards.
There
I
certainly
would
are.
And it was
tales.
very unkempt.
Yeah,
yeah,
generally kind of unkempt and stocky.
Yeah.
It'd be like for a freak show that went out of business. You can't find work.
She may have gone changed
That's brilliant, yes, okay.
which is a real life story.
Okay.
Okay, I got passion for drawing. I got blue skin. Grieving the loss of his family.
Okay.
I got an alien.
You have. You've got an alien.
I've got an alien who just lost his family, and it's only the way he grieves is by drawing all his family. He draws it on his walls, he draws it on his cupboards, anything like that. It's slowly going bad for him.
And is he living upstairs in a diner in the US? Or is he on an alien planet? Or where is he doing this? Because you've got a really strong picture of him drawing. And I can see him too. He's blue and he's got a crayon in his hand, but he's fuzzy around the edges. Is he in this story or is he in his own story?
That's when we started to find. Let's go upstairs.
Yeah.
Maybe like the assistants with shopkeeper or something like that.
So
Or the
roommate
guy.
of the weirdness.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and also the other question there is he's grieving his family. And when did he lose his family and how did he lose his family? Because that can pull things into other things. Did he, if we are in a world where people have alien roommates, which there's no reason to say that we're not, yeah, from what we've had so far. If he is a roommate with a weirdness magnet, yeah, and he's an alien and he's lost his family, did his family get killed in the same conflict that the guy who likes his dog fought in, you know, in the conflict in which he was brave?
Well, in our weirdest thing, it has a facial circle.
Yes, he could have also.
Sounds like a big battle happened in the past or something.
It could be, yeah, it could be. Or it could have been a battle between humans and aliens, or it could have been a battle between your blue aliens and your humans with other aliens on the other side. And the devil's talking about sad-eyed, hoping to pick up souls. And then you start thinking about interesting theology there. You know, it's going a funny place. Yeah.
But if he's an alien on Earth too, he could have lost his family just because he's on Earth with no other aliens too.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no saying necessarily they were killed in a horrific accident
No.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's ship crashed.
Yeah.
Or even just slower than light travel.
Yeah.
That just by coming to Earth, his family have died in the 10 years he was on his way. It's been 600 years and they're gone. Which maybe he thought when he left he would be okay about. You've got a lot of possibilities there. And that's what I mean with the character brings the world. Yeah, all of these possibilities are the character bringing the world. And you choose between them and you've got your world. Yeah. Okay? Well, you know, the great thing about writing is you can change your mind. You know, you can put aliens in it, but you can decide, oh, maybe not, I'll take them out again. I'll put them in a different story.
Well, blue skin and like blue blood could also be the implication of that.
And
too,
cold,
Very cool.
cold and wintry.
Or just so
Well,
tattooed.
Or extreme body modification.
Or I can interject, my
No,
brother who's a...
No, you've got to be down here if you're going to play. If you're up there, you cannot interject.
Okay.
You sit up there, you can't play. I did say that.
As well as drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got two that are kind of contradictory, because one says he's blue-eyed, and the other one says he's got chocolate brown eyes that twinkle.
So he's got two sets of eyes. Wow.
And he also has a phobia of birds.
I'm not surprised.
Tinted lenses.
Yeah, tinted lenses.
Or changing eye color.
Or some people and animals actually have two different colored eyes, one green.
Does it say pair of eyes?
It's, I say eyes in both cases.
Right.
They're blue-eyed, and then chocolate brown eyes that
You
twinkle.
could have 3 eyes.
There you go.
He could. Does that help?
That sentence, that third eye.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
ones.
me.
Well, maybe it's the devil.
Well, maybe he just like keeps the chocolate brown eyes.
It could be another devil.
Last victim.
Yeah, it's the heart of a little boy in a jar at his desk.
He keeps the eyes in a box that he carries with him when he strokes.
So we're talking about a serial killer here.
That's what we needed.
What was the third thing?
He's a phobia of birds.
Maybe he's the one who cheated the devil, and the devil is sending birds after him.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
birds is coming.
Or maybe he's another, either a damned person or another demon or something. If he's got all these eyes.
When he asked the devil to have eyes on the back of the head, he didn't think the devil was literally.
Yeah.
Or he's afraid that the bird is coming after his precious eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what that immediately made me think of was Twa Corbies and that kind of thing, where the crows are ready to peck out your eyes, and the more eyes you've got, the more you'd worry about that. I mean, obviously.
Well, he probably had several sets more to begin with, but now he's down to 3.
Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. So maybe he's an alien, not the same kind of blue. Mind you, we don't know how many eyes. It could be the same kind.
You got like eyes here and eyes like here.
Oh. God, horror. I hate horror. Yeah, could be. But he, and I like that idea that he might have had 12 pairs of eyes and he's down to 2 pairs. Because the birds keep backing them out. Yeah. I don't really think that fits, though it could fit. It could be made to fit, and I'm sure you can all see as well as I can how it could be made to fit in what we've been saying with these other characters, because they could be the kind of aliens everybody was fighting in the past, and the blue alien lost the family, and everybody who was veteran got the weird stuff. Yeah, and they could be on the other side there. Or...
You know what? My character is blind, so you have one.
Oh my God. Yes!
I just realized that
Yes!
I've taken my eyes.
You could have taken the eyes from the blind beggar.
Sure.
You can't just do it. Maybe like one of the devil's demons or something.
Yeah, it could be a demon with the. He could have eyes in his palms of his hands.
Like the pants back.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Stole his eyes.
Yeah. Stole his eyes and put them in his hands. I'm terrified of birds because birds.
Birds everywhere. Birds can speak.
Yeah.
So many birds, they can communicate.
Especially if you're around at migration time. That is freaky when
Yeah.
they're all gathered.
Because animals know evil.
Yeah.
But they're also, like, they can be familiar, right?
They could be. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, they could be other people's familiars. Yeah.
If he wasn't
Yeah,
serving
and
the
they found-
devil and left, then
If I was writing this, the blind guy would keep stumbling through this story, and there would always be birds associated with that guy. When you saw him, you would see crows, and then when you came across that, you would find out the birds were working with the blind guy to try to get his eyes back from your character. Yeah.
The image of stroking the box is going to creep me out for days. If I see anyone stroking stuff.
Okay, pass it on.
Socially inept, very shy, and sweet-natured.
Wow, that's a normal person.
All right. My first thought is it's the wife of the cop.
The one who doesn't get treated as well as the dog.
That's right. Yeah. No, come on.
Could be the kid.
Could be the wife of the everyman.
Could be the dog. I was thinking the same thing.
I'm getting more of a small town person that at a big school who wants to make friends but doesn't have the capacity or the experience.
So this is somebody who could be like your ballerina's best friend, confidant, or somebody like that. Yeah. When you said small town, all of this except possibly the eyes, but all of it really. This is all small town. These are all small town characters, aren't they? They're not big city characters. They're maybe not the ballerina, but if she's a teenager, she's still a small town character. It's a small town kind of story, and I think we've already seen that when we've been saying behind the diner and things like that. It's a small town kind of, so the characters have brought their scale with them. Yeah. Because we didn't do that on purpose. I certainly didn't do that on purpose. And it's just the kind of characters we had, they were pulling in that direction. So this is a story, even if it's got all the aliens in it, it's a story that happens in a small town with a school and a ballerina and yeah. But you think a young school age?
That's
Male or female?
I could go either way.
Yeah, it could be a very classic gay best friend actually in story terms, couldn't it? Yeah. And and that's another good general question. Sexuality often doesn't matter, sometimes matters really a lot in minor characters, worth thinking about. Not to just be standardly, you know, make everybody straight, because everybody isn't straight. And if you're looking at those things in a teenage boy, then that could be a gay teenage boy almost, you know, more easily, particularly the sweet nature bit. No. Okay.
Loves puns.
Spider rolls.
Denies emotional investment. Long black hair. All right, I'm pulling towards goth here.
A punny goth.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You're kind of like that.
I think that's.
I think it works, Nicole. I think it works. Doesn't, just because you're a goth doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't mean you let anyone know you love them.
Yeah. And it also makes, if they're a goth and they love puns, it makes them less cliche.
It's part of the denial thing.
Well, it's part of a denial of emotional involvement, maybe, but it's part of the, you know, they've got the facade, but underneath that they love the puns. Or maybe the puns are all part of their verbal
Shield against the world.
shield. Yeah.
But they would say them with a very straight face.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, the long black hair could go either gender, but I'm definitely going younger.
Yeah. So the goth goes with your shy person and your ballerina on the younger end of the people that we've been looking at here. So if this is a novel, this is quite a complex story that's got a lot of characters moving around and the devil moving around and aliens and it's got this sort of high school section of it with the ballerina as significant and maybe the goth and the shy person as friends or enemies.
But
And
that could be a foil.
yes,
For the ballerina too, right? Because ballerinas tend to be, you know, thin and pretty and vase, and goths tend to be anti that,
yes,
right? So it's
Yes.
a foil.
Breakfast Club.
Yes.
So since I said Breakfast Club, which I actually love, but which is incredibly cliched in terms of characters, yeah, no, it totally is. No, they are archetypes.
Absolutely.
And it works. If this was an older character, yeah. If it was an, oh, we have aging hippies, we're going to have aging goths. You know?
In 50 years, there are going to be a lot of women running around with tattoos and old women running around with tattoos.
In nursing
all the
homes,
places.
yeah. I always think of that when people say they've got some particularly cool tattoo all across their back. I think of when they are 80 and people are washing them in the bath, it is going to look so old. Yeah, but it is going to look odd. Okay, sorry.
It's going to be a new cliche, you know, like
Yeah.
purple hair dye.
It's going to be,
Back tattoo.
yeah, it's going to be a thing that dates people very, very precisely. Of your generation, the you know, unless people keep on doing it, which is also possible. But I bet it goes out again and comes in again because tattoos have done that in the last 300 years. They've been a phase thing. Yeah. Okay.
See mine on top of it.
No. Shake them up.
So we have cheerful, tearful, or
Cheerful.
cheerful.
Name on his or, oh, mane on his or her back. And career student.
Excuse me, Joe. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go fast.
Well, maybe they're another alien. I don't want them to be an alien because I don't like aliens. So maybe the main is a
Hairy guy.
It's a very hairy
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
And they're still a student. So maybe they're like a were creature.
You could have like
A cheerful were or something.
People have
A cheerful
in it
devil,
for
great
great
hair,
hair.
because of their biology. That's a
It
very
sounds like a
real
lot of
thing.
people in this town have really weird biology.
Maybe it's trouble with like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe it's just a poetic way of describing their hair. But this is another high school, well, if
They're
they're
career
a
students.
career
of
student,
university.
yeah.
So they're gonna be an older student because they've been there for a long time.
Maybe they came back to the small town for like summer.
Okay, so out of those three things, which of those do you think is the most interesting thing about them, or the thing that most defines them?
Well, originally I thought the main, but as we're talking, it's kind of turning into a student thing.
Odd. Yeah, interesting. Okay, we're gonna have to move fairly quickly, sorry.
His father promised him he'd support him all the time when he was in school.
We've actually got slightly more time than that because there's nothing in here until 2:30, so if we overrun a little bit, it doesn't matter.
Going through divorce, hates father, and in debt.
Maybe this guy is that guy's
This is that guy's son.
Okay, so if you found out that your father that you hated was thinking of selling his soul to the devil,
I would encourage him strongly to do so.
yeah? Yeah, well, where's the conflict in that?
What if the deal is to sell his firstborn son and you have to...
Especially if it's a grown son.
Actually,
That would be awkward.
very
It's just kind of the plot of the show Reapers, but...
Right, yeah, okay.
strong.
Yeah, no, but selling your firstborn grown-up son is
Yeah, old.
yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Nervous now. Orphan, loves his kids, recovering alcoholic.
What do you think?
Well, I'm guessing that he loves his kids so much because he's overcompensating for their childhood, obviously. And alcoholism, because of growing up in the system, growing up without parents, without purpose, he's trying to be a better person so he can have what he didn't have with his kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a lot of backstory there, but not a lot of moving forward motivation except probably protective motivation. His kids have different.
So
Yeah,
could
exactly.
he be the parent of, it's his, isn't it? So we're stuck with,
Yeah,
with his then.
it's his.
Could he be the parent of some of these high school kids that we've been having? Could he be the parent of the ballerina or the shy one or the gothy one or the student either?
I think he needs to be the parent of the one who hates his father.
Well,
He
because
loves
he'd be
his kid, he
overcompensating
loves
so
his
much
dad.
and the kid would just get overwhelmed with it.
Yeah,
This kid's
Yeah.
already grown up though,
yeah,
because they're getting divorced.
right, yeah, yeah.
It's not like my parents are at least 40.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there we've got maybe somebody's dad with an interesting backstory, and also all with a small town vibe, and let's keep moving.
Okay. I've got determined, addicted to chewing chalk, and tall.
Why they teach you like that?
That's definitely a teacher. An old-fashioned teacher as well. Or possibly an alien.
It could be a small child, but
Yes, or it could be an alien with a strange metabolism where chewing chalk gives you a high.
Or it's somebody who needs the calcium in the chalk, the carbonate, to settle the stomach.
oh, so overstressed.
That's pretty much.
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher.
What do you think?
More.
I think maybe a genetically engineered super student who keeps failing classes despite his what he's created to do, and he also has his chalk craving as part of a screw up with his biology. But he's determined to pass his class at some point because that's what he was born to do, and he's very tall because he's especially genetically engineered to be tall.
So we're
Career student?
getting an interest. Actually, if career student came back to like be a teacher's assistant at the school or something like that. We're getting quite an interesting high school here. With all of these high school characters. I love that, the genetically engineered super student.
It has to be a high school because everything is a high school.
Okay.
Maybe a college.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, it absolutely could be. And indeed with the ballerina in it. I think everything's high school because that is the age when people are so bloody passionate about everything. And that gives you immediate drama. But yeah. Yep, Louise.
Easygoing, talkative, and six-fingered. So are they six-fingered because they're a human mutation, or are they another alien?
Could have killed the orphan's father.
Maybe they'll have 6 instead of 10.
6 instead of Amish. Amish? I think it is. There's a group like Amish in Ontario where they actually do.
What?
There's 6.
It's just a
Six
genetic
digit.
family.
All right,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So it
I
doesn't
thought it
have
was
to be an
originally
alien.
interesting because
Okay, so. Okay, so, I think this is another person who meets up with the articulate truck driver. Sounds like the talkative and the articulate. And I think if you had 6 fingers, it would be really handy for playing the guitar or the harp. So they might be a musician. But I'm not sure what their driving conflict is.
Maybe they play piano for the ballerina.
Maybe.
yeah.
They play harp. Their music could create something to combat the devil.
Musicians are a big theme with devils too.
Yeah.
Like the South in your soul to be a great musician is pretty
Yeah,
classic.
at the crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
then
there's the devil with
Yeah.
that majority.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
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 Maybe she had small hands and she couldn't reach an octave. And, yeah.
Yeah.
So she would get bigger hands and say she got 6 fingers.
Yeah, so we could actually have a whole set of people in the previous generation who made deals with the devil for things that they got. Yeah. And now it's the new generation, and some of them cheated the devil. The devil expects to be cheated. And now we've got a new generation of all these younger people and aliens.
3 eyes.
6 fingers.
No.
Who
Because the deal with the devil always goes wrong. Like that's the mythology.
That's how it works. It always goes wrong. Yeah.
And that would explain why my guy is so protective of his kid, because he doesn't want...
He doesn't want that to happen. Yes, yes. Okay.
Lopsided ears, plump blonde.
Sorry?
I've got a lopsided eared, plump blonde. So this lady cannot wear 2 earrings. Okay. Yes, well, we're doing good. I've got someone who would be very self-conscious about that, who perhaps sells jewelry but can't wear it, and would love to be a model with earrings. So,
What about the wife of the abusive husband?
I thought we already had a married one.
Well,
Well, the possibility.
a possibility.
Yeah.
But see, plump and blonde and a little bit off in her looks to me says housewife, like right off the bat. That's what I.
Yeah. And lack of confidence that
Yeah.
might well go with the abusive family situation. Yeah. Yeah.
Years could have been a result of a cosmetic surgery too, not something like
It could be. Yeah.
reconstructive, whether something.
She's really focused on her hair because that's what covers up her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long locks.
Because the hair is one of the 3 main characteristics, right? So it has to have
Yes.
something behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. So that would be somebody else for the adult level of characters, the previous generation. So what we've got here with this is a lot of backstory, a lot of levels, a lot that's been going on and is still going on, a lot of present time stuff as well. So yeah, let's go on.
Athlete, ghost hunter, and lonely.
Lonely ghost hunter.
Well, that all makes sense together.
Well, yeah, I had to be athletic in order to be a ghost hunter, because yeah, those ghosts are dark fast.
And you don't tend to bring a lot of family with you in your hunting evil.
Well, he started out as a ghost hunter because he could see them. Nobody else could. And so they just all thought he was absolutely nuts. So he made it his life goal to be the best darn ghost hunter he could possibly be.
So which generation is he in?
In between.
Right.
Not in the younger set,
In
not in
between.
the older set.
Yeah.
Not quite fitting in it with anybody because, yeah, nobody else is seeing the ghosts.
Right.
If the lonely is part of his motivation, what about meeting up with the truck driver?
Yes, the articulate truck driver whom I believe.
And who seems to be a little older
Yeah.
and to do a little more
Yeah.
mental.
And also who seems to be of that transitional generation. He's not necessarily the parent generation, but he's not still a
Generally
teenager
from
either.
this town, who basically.
He's
in a
coming
passing
through. He is the person who actually kicks this all off, in terms of he's the stranger who comes to town, and he meets up with the lonely athletes, ghost hunter, and believes in ghosts. Yeah.
And nobody else in small town does. The devils become the ghosts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, Anne.
I have a vapid vegetarian who is totally done. I can see her right now.
I'm going back to eating good.
This is the person found dead behind the toilet. Everybody's got a motive.
Except the vapid vegetarian who has no clue what's
It
going
could
on.
be. It could be somebody's mom as well. It could, you know, it could be the goth's mom.
You just keep trying to push soy treats on everybody.
Okay, I know male vegetarians, and I know male people that might be described as vapid as well.
That's true.
So
They tend to be handsome, though. If you describe a male character as vapid, that
That's
would be
true.
the connection I would make. So you don't usually call a male vapid unless you're thinking like the Fabio character.
Yes,
There is a
yes.
feminine, horrible as it sounds, connotation to just the word.
There is, yeah. No, if you use it as a man, you're absolutely right. It is the sort of Fabio thing that you could. It's much more commonly used of women than. Yeah, that totally said women to me as well. I'm just saying, ask the question. You know?
But it sends the character in a totally different direction versus like
Yes.
aging hippie mom with her soy trees versus
Yes.
aging Fabio guy.
Hitting on people, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No idea they're freaked out.
But that's something.
It's my dad.
It's something I think is very interesting. Is how if you take words that say exactly the same thing and you gender switch them, you get a completely different thing.
Yes, you do.
I wrote about this in my life journal in the context of Twelfth Night. If you gender switch Twelfth Night, it suddenly takes place in the world of Sherry Tepper's The Gate to Women's Country. It so does. Which is just really so interesting. Yeah, okay, let's finish up.
Okay, the
We're
last
going to end with...
female excellent survivor with dark eyes.
Our heroine.
She's the one that
At last.
Vapid vegetarian, right?
I was thinking it could be somebody's daughter who tried to make a deal with the devil, and she managed to survive without being the first woman who was taken by the devil. She's on the run from the devil, trying to make her way in the world, and she's really distrusting of everybody because she thinks that it could be the devil in some form trying to get her. That's what.
We still need one who actually succeeded in cheating, so.
Could be hitching a ride out of town with the truck.
But
driver.
they've all kind of, the parent generation in this have all kind of succeeded in a way. They've got their things, and they're not yet dead. The devil expects to be cheated. And the devil is trying to get the kid generation. And then you've got these transitional people who are trying to stop that and change that. And what we've got here is a pile of characters. And what we've got here is a story and a world and a whole setting and possibly some other interesting aliens that may or may not go with this. And a small town. And this is what characters can do for you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. You did it.
Did Did we have magic for you?
That's kind of, the magic that is always amazing is that as soon as you start doing it, don't put the back of my hat, I want it on my head. As soon as you start doing it, they all come together. And the thing that is magic is that they fit together. Even though you're doing them randomly, you get a story. And it's rare that you get something you cannot fit in with your story. I did one once where it became the crew of a pirate ship. And the last one was the figurehead. And it just does that. And these were all small town, small scale, deal with the devil, ghosts. Yeah, and if we've got aliens there, we've got near future with this stuff, and yet it's still this supernatural. It all comes to be one thing. And that is what is magic. And it always in fact works, but I'm not quite sure why. So thank you, that was really great. You were all great. They were really good. And I hope I helped you a little bit. Sure.
Some of you could give me a hand putting the PureSpec where you belong, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
And I have information about the silent auction. For those who are interested, the yellow items, their bidding is closing at 3 o'clock.
6 fingers. Yeah, I was thinking. Deal with the devil to get his fingers back.
So I was gonna wait until I get to start down here. It's the same
My name is Violet. My parents are not writers. My mother college on
It's not quite the same.
You know what I was talking about? Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. You anyway, pulling things together. I spent my whole life not doing anything, but I wanted to do that. I'll talk for a session. Don't do things as he does. Not
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, I consider you to be, you're already off the right way, pulling things. It's not pulling you the right way.
Yeah. Something was always asking, I should present a new project, give me all the pieces of information, so we're ready to speak.
Yeah. Well, I always have fun doing this. I mean, that was great. This is always really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't need to be that far away. Assuming there are, they can maybe recommend that.
Just read it and I'm
yeah. You want to do one?
Yeah, this one would be good.
I think we have to realize now, I didn't know how to sit them. I think which is cool because they'll be really one at a time. And then we don't have to delay.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're great as well. Yeah. It's surprising how well that
you know, it's not a good sign when the first day comes up with a closing response.
Julian, you weren't in the room when we were just chatting. I think we'll use these two tables to set up. I suspect we won't have a lot of kids, so we'll probably just try to get them to come around whatever table we're working on, and then we can have both ready to
Can
go.
I leave a pair of scissors? Yes, I do. I need to take this one.
No, I just need a big paper.
gonna say, I might set up on the far side, and then I can unload. Or which side do you want?
Well, I was gonna see this because I have a outlet right there.
Oh, okay.
I'm not bending over and coughing, sorry. That's that one.
She likes it.
I wish I lived there. I'd be very surprised if you had lost it.
I lost some eggs in the bag here.
Oh.
One of them's peeled. That's creepy. Two of them are peeled. Oh, this bag has a hole in it.
You know how to work the gingers? Those gloves really go with your,
I got it. What do you guys?
Yeah, let's go. Projector. Look at play. Okay. So there's just some buttons we're missing.
you guys have any audio at all?
Nope.
Okay.
You think that I can talk to a friend that I've known for 20 years? Know all the questions to ask.
Where we go, I'm going to share this presentation with you because it's just a Google file. And then we just need the one computer.
Unless you guys are gonna have 30 fingers.
Well, you can run it if you want. I have a remote.
And then,
Tension air.
I wish I could.
it took a while.
Oh, I want to talk about
This is we need to turn it off because it's cool down. I might not have exact, and I forget.
Oh, it's the kill.
I'm not sure.
Green Bay.
Green Bay?
Green Bay and Rail. For devotion and education of the young couple. He made a video. And as a result was,
Okay, check the connections again. Just 320 for classroom.
yeah.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
It just goes off the pipe.
You confused me. Oh, it's.
I have my phone.
Take
I
this.
just like it goes away. Well, like just setting this to run right now. I don't have to send anything. He just needs the link.
kids sometimes go back. But yeah.
Are you filming all of the talks today in this room?
We're attempting to film all the talks in all rooms.
Awesome. And you're in charge of all of them?
Yes, I'm in charge of going.
I've been there.
So there may be a bits missing.
I've also been there.